A new poll shows that in Pennsylvania, Biden is leading the pack of Democrats running for president. It also shows him beating the president head to head. Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren would also win against Mr. Trump. Now, the president is planning his own rally in Pennsylvania tomorrow. So KPIX5's Phil Matier and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown about all these Democratic candidates and if 24 is really the final number.
You'd think you were in Petaluma selling eggs. 24, can you imagine? 24? And there's still more to come. I just saw Stacey Abrams on TV this morning, all dressed in red, looking very patriotic, indicating that she hasn't yet given up the opportunity.
Well, I tell you, it's really causing a headache for the graphics department. Trying to fit all those pictures on one slide is not an easy task. It's really hard to even tell who's who anymore. And I still don't know where they're getting any money, what the plan is, jumping in so late, being number 25. What is the success plan there? I don't understand it.
Mayor Brown, what does this say about the Democratic Party? I mean, there was a time when a presidential contender would have to have a constituency, somebody behind them that was actually pushing for this.
But wait a minute.
There aren't that many constituencies.
A few of them actually have constituencies. Biden has got a constituency, and the Byrne has a constituency. I think Buttigieg has a constituency. So there are some with constituencies. On the other hand, there are some with nothing except hate groups that would like to have their heads, and that's the last one that just entered. I mean, I've never seen anybody as rejected at home.
As New York mayor?
As a New York mayor. My God. Can you imagine? I would be fearful of going back to New York if I was in his category.
Maybe that's the plan. Maybe this is a perfectly good excuse to be in Iowa and not in the city, where I think his approval rating is something like 14%.
But the Democrats are being enthusiastic about the prospect for 2020 because of Nancy Pelosi's success in 2018, when she did what she did, and when all those people who stepped up there as the newcomers and embraced the idea, I'll vote against Nancy if I have to, just elect me, and got away with it. Now, all of a sudden, all these people with their consultants think there is the possibility. And believe me, at least 23 of them will never be there.
Now, I thought the conventional wisdom was that Stacey Abrams really wanted to be governor of Georgia.
Well, yeah, she famously has a list of things she wanted to accomplish that she wrote when she was very young, and governor is on the list. However, they just elected a governor, right? I mean, she just lost that race. She may be running again in several years, but at least for now, she is sitting out of the Senate race in Georgia. And for, a lot of folks think that she might be doing that to make herself available for either a presidential run or a vice presidential run. She has notably not ruled that out. And so it's sort of until you do, she's going to keep getting thrown in there.
And these latecomers to the party, isn't there a chance that there's just no money, there's no staff, there's no interest?
That's right. I mean, running a nationwide campaign is really hard, especially with so many states having early primaries. You really need a robust ground game right out of the gate. I don't know where these people are going to get their money, especially governors who don't have a big pot of federal campaign money they can move over to a presidential campaign, like senators can move that over. These governors can't, and it's really unclear how long they're going to stay in it. Now, the latest figures show a 17% uptick in San Francisco since the last homeless count 2 years ago. And that's an even bigger increase in other parts of the Bay Area. Homelessness is up by 31% in Santa Clara County and by 43% in Alameda County. So Phil Matier and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, what are the politics behind trying to tackle an issue as big as housing?
When you have a problem created by people being on all sides of the issue, and when there's an active voter participation in individual districts, it really does become a problem.
So in other words, the equation is, if you, let's say, have developers, builders, and civic types that say we need more housing versus environmentalists and social justice people and NIMBY people that says it'll gentrify, it'll wreck my neighborhood, and in the middle of that you have voters who might be angry at you for siding with one of the two, the best thing is to do nothing?
The best thing in the world is to vote for it, but only in its infancy. Do not allow it to go to teenageship or adulthood.
Well, yeah, and now we, of course, have the ability to kill bills in the Appropriations Committee, which is what happened. And so that means the bill, you could say you voted for it, but it just
Not
disappears
kill bills.
for this
bills
year.
Those bills are percolating. you got to understand, it takes some time for bills to grow help. And that's what they've got to do on their own when they are that potentially toxic.
But, you know, we actually are getting to a breaking point with this housing issue, and it's starting to sound like Prop 13, where people said, hey, our property taxes are too high, and people in Sacramento dragged their feet, and then all of a sudden there was a very dramatic ballot measure that we're still dealing with because it just wasn't going quickly enough.
Which is exactly what we need. We do need a ballot measure, because you got to understand that I'm not sure that I want people living next door to me. I kind of like where I live, and I don't like how it's disturbed, and I suspect that I'm the symbol of almost everything that's occurring in the state.
Isn't relying on a ballot measure for this issue sort of an abdication of leadership?
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, when you're taking away even the ability of the members of the legislature to make what may be a controversial vote by sort of shelving things, I mean, generally, yes, when we get to that point of needing a ballot measure to sort of break the impasse, it usually is because somebody keeps using these sort of pathways to avoid having direct elections. Although I'll say it was really interesting. Governor Newsom the other day said, you know, for folks who are opposed to SB 50, that's fine, and I appreciate that. But what are you proposing that is as aggressive as we need it to be to deal with this housing issue? And I think, you know, that's kind of what people are waiting for.